Carrie Lam appeals for support for political reform. Getting ready for the Lunar New Year parade.
We are not at war with Islam. We are at war with people who have perverted Islam. The terrorists do not speak for over 1 billion Muslims who reject their hateful ideology.
And calls to embrace Muslims in the fight against extremism.
Good evening. First of all, from everyone here at TVB News, Kung Hei Fat Choi and happy and healthy Year of the Sheep. Acting Chief Executive Carrie Lam's New Year wish is for lawmakers to pass the government's political reform package. This as celebrations have been held around town on the first day of the Lunar New Year. Ronnie Samtani tells us more.
The sound of firecrackers marked the start of the Year of the Sheep. While firecrackers are illegal, it remains a new territory's tradition. The acting chief executive took part in the festivities this morning. Carrie Lam presided over a lantern lighting ceremony and wrote a New Year couplet calling for social harmony. Lam wished everyone good health and happiness in the new year. She also expressed hope that the government's political reform package will be passed in the Legislative Council. Lam explained that during a recent visit to Beijing, officials in charge of constitutional development expressed the willingness of the Pan-Democrats to communicate with mainland officials. She stressed that the administration will continue to try to arrange a meeting between the two sides. But Lam reiterated that it would not be practical if the only goal of the Pan-Democrats is to ask the central government to retract the reform framework set by the National People's Congress Standing Committee in August. She also said that there shouldn't be any preconditions for the talks. On this first day of the Year of the Sheep, thousands flocked to the Lamchun wishing tree.
It's so beautiful out here, and I love seeing all the cultural decorations, the food, it's just perfect.
What's your New Year wish?
Good health, happy all the time.
Good health, long life, and just prosperity, really.
I have a good results in university.
Apart from the traditional wishing tree, this year couples can cast their hopes and dreams together by tying wooden heart-shaped wish locks to this red rope, which itself symbolizes the destiny that connects two lovers. Over at the airport, there was a Lunar New Year lion dance to get everyone into the festive mood. And this baby boy was born 2 minutes after midnight at Baptist Hospital. Weighing 3.5 kilos, he is the first baby born in the Year of the Sheep. Mr. and Mrs. Chu are the proud parents. Ronnie Samtani, TVB News.
Another holiday tradition is, of course, the Lunar New Year parade, and it's due to start in Tsim Sha Tsui in less than half an hour. And that's where our Owen Fung is standing by. Owen, Happy New Year, and what's the atmosphere like there?
Thanks, Chris, and Happy New Year to you too. It's really quite windy and chilly out here in Tsim Sha Tsui, but people don't seem to be put off by the weather at all. Not only locals are here tonight, but I also met many tourists along the route. Some of them told me they've never celebrated Chinese New Year before, and they're very excited to see the parade. And guess what? I spoke to some of the performers earlier today, and they're pretty excited about it too.
These kids have been learning lion dance for a month. They put the final touches to the routine this afternoon. So how do they feel ahead of the big show?
So what will you be responsible for?
Back of the head.
Okay. And are you nervous?
Yeah.
How are you feeling right now?
Very excited.
The first Lunar New Year parade was held back in 1996. It's celebrating its 20th anniversary this year. 13 floats, along with more than 20 groups of local and international performers, are taking part in the International Chinese New Year Night Parade. As a warm-up to the main event, the Hong Kong Tourism Board gave out 98,888 K coupons along the route of the parade this afternoon. Many people waited eagerly in the queue for the free gift. This visitor from Taiwan says she feels very lucky to get a coupon. But some didn't seem to know what they were lining up for.
We just followed everyone else off the ferry and we just,
end up here.
got pushed up here.
The parade will set off from the Cultural Centre Piazza. It will go through the streets of Tsim Sha Tsui before finishing at the Sheraton Hotel. Special traffic arrangements are in place in the area. The parade will start in about 25 minutes, and the anticipation is really building up now. And if you do plan on coming out here, do note that many roads have been closed off, and some bus routes have been diverted. That's all from me for now. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Owen. Standing by live in Tsim Sha Tsui for the parade. Lunar New Year festivities have been equally colorful across the world. Diane To takes a look, starting with Beijing.
The capital city rang in the Lunar New Year with a colorful bang. Actually, a lot of bangs. Fireworks were set off across town, as were long chains of firecrackers that's supposed to scare away demons that carry bad luck for the year. No one knows if that really works, but one thing the pyrotechnic frenzy did lead to was serious air pollution. Beijing authorities had urged residents to cool the pyrotechnics this year, but stopped short of imposing a ban like nearly 140 other mainland cities have. And the New Year excitement pushed the air quality index from good around 7 o'clock last night to hazardous after midnight. Over in Shanghai, thousands flocked to Longhua Temple overnight to pray for a nice new year. Authorities were extra cautious with crowd control to avoid a repeat of the fatal stampede on New Year's Eve. In Taiwan, the Longshan Temple is a New Year favorite for everyone.
It's just a good way to start the new year, to say goodbye to the old one, and it's the real tradition of Taipei. It's just, and the decorations are beautiful.
Dragon and lion dances brought even more fun to this festive occasion, especially at Yokohama's Chinatown. This Japanese lion dancer said he hoped the dance can help bring stronger Sino-Japanese ties. And at the nearby Guandi Temple, many prayed for peace between the two countries. They're not the only ones who want better relations with China.
Das Jahr Hao.
Prince William showed off his Mandarin ahead of a royal visit.
My warmest wishes to you all for the Year of the Sheep. Junimen, Chunzia, Kuala, Yangnian Daji.
And in New York, fireworks lit up the sky above the Hudson River. The 20-minute display was the Big Apple's first Lunar New Year fireworks show, touted to nearly equal the iconic Independence Day spectacle in scale. Strong and chilly winds cleared the skies afterwards. Diane To, TVB News.
In the United States, President Barack Obama has called on Muslims around the world to fight the misconception that groups like the Islamic State speak for them. That's the agenda the White House is pushing to a summit to address violent extremism.
Everybody, please have a seat.
With the Islamic State groups spreading in the Mideast and elsewhere, Obama is using this week's summit on violent extremism to urge the world to broaden its response far beyond military intervention. He dedicated his keynote address to convincing Muslims he is not leading a war against them.
And we are not at war with Islam. We are at war with people who have perverted Islam.
Obama went on to encourage the world to resist granting religious legitimacy to terrorists like Islamic State.
Of course, the terrorists do not speak for over 1 billion Muslims who reject their hateful ideology. They no more represent Islam than any madman who kills innocents in the name of God represents Christianity or Judaism or Buddhism or Hinduism. No religion is responsible for terrorism. People are responsible for violence and terrorism.
Belgium admitted that 28 of their youth from one city joined Islamic State in Syria. Its mayor believes the best way to prevent radicalizing youth is to stop those who preach terror.
We also have to combat in our cities, in the neighborhoods, especially in these vulnerable neighborhoods. We have to make a fist to break down those who try to radicalize other people.
And the gruesome beheading of 21 Egyptian Coptic Christians has Libya worried about defending its people. Libya's foreign minister asked the United Nations Security Council to lift an arms embargo. Fearing Libya's crisis could spread across the border, neighboring Egypt says it's already upgrading its military hardware. At a somber ceremony in Jerusalem, Muslims joined Christians in a funeral procession to mourn the 21 beheaded by Islamic State.
Former Florida Governor Jeb Bush has admitted that his brother, former U.S. President George W. Bush, made mistakes in Iraq. The 2016 presidential hopeful also criticized incumbent Barack Obama's foreign policy, saying his tactics no longer inspire fear in enemies.
The intelligence capability that everybody embraced about weapons of mass destruction turns out not to be accurate. Not creating an environment of security after the successful taking out of Hussein was a mistake, because Iraqis wanted security more than anything else. Everywhere you look, you see the world slipping out of control. We see the rise of non-state terror organizations like ISIS, Boko Haram, Al-Qaeda still growing in certain parts of the world.
Greece today submitted a compromise proposal to try to break a deadlock with European creditors over its bailout program and end uncertainty over the country's future in the Eurozone. The last-minute proposal requests a 6-month extension of the loan program that has kept Greece from bankruptcy since 2010. One Greek official says Athens is not asking for an extension of the spending cuts, high taxation, and reforms that have been a condition of the bailout program. The proposal will be put before a meeting of Eurozone finance ministers in Brussels tomorrow. Bailout talks collapsed earlier this week.
A Hong Kong-based family has been involved in a fatal car crash in New Zealand. A couple and their daughter were killed. The tragedy happened near the North Island town of Tokoroa on Tuesday. The car collided head-on with a logging truck. 53-year-old Warren Lee, his wife, and their 20-year-old daughter, Julia, died. The 18-year-old son was injured. They are or were American citizens. The daughter had been living in the U.S. state of Massachusetts, and the family was visiting New Zealand to help with relocation before she attended university in Auckland. And still ahead in our newscast, Ukraine calls for UN peacekeepers to monitor truce after Debaltseve retreat. Criminal charges filed against Yingluck Shinawat. And Real Madrid victorious in the Champions League.
The 2015-2016 Budget Address. Live Wednesday morning at 10:59 on Pearl.
超市買餸啊，清單記得帶，買嘢食時要睇住啊，唔好亂咁買。屋企煮飯份量要諗清楚，食唔晒唔好煮咁多，清潔就個個笑呵呵。食正餸記住包好算好，注意食用限期，係做大嘥鬼。
Be food wise and waste less. Start green in the year of the goat.
六福珠寶羊年送你大豪禮，祝你新年行大運，三羊啟泰，六福齊來。
Celebrate Chinese New Year